Let us not allow them to fool around. Let us support Goldbod. So every year Goldbod can bring in $10 billion. We are good. The dollar will never cross 12. The Bank of Ghana will not be printing money. The government of the day will not go out and borrow. The biggest threat as a political party, NPP, the Goldbod led by Sammy Gyamfi.
It was an answer more. It's a Kevin Teller. Or Sammy Gyamfi office. And he was said by another kind in your profit to say, Yenya Senya, oh, deppy. NPP for your quasam no modeno. Then ya debefa. If your Goldbod nesi wana, and Sammy Gyamfi is a threat to NPP as a political party. Say, enema kosu say ya, Yanko Boros Kebio, Bank of Ghana interest Kengumu Biu, enema bo bete, Sidinya dia betra 12. Enti enema beku yipa. Munya. Sisi ayese ba omi na day gold for why buy. Mufamano, but mufamano, but mfaso be ni nyai sa time no na wakofa na dia ba mfaso be ni nyai. Mohwe Sammy Gyamfi Bank of Ghana ekufado. Do be ye sidi ni hweda Sammy Gyamfi ma ye sidi no. Munya o masamom.
This is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Assembling in a NPP for person force it to Ghana for team. Goldbod. Sammy Gyamfi. Yes, Sammy Gyamfi, and then Goldbod. And the question here is, at the end of the day, I'm so yet to see one person come on TV. I'll bet you Ghana for say. You see, a cut 2.4 million $240 million. And you win at the Canaba win at the Canaba. I'm still yet to see. I've seen Bright Simon speak so much, no substance. I've seen Kofi Bento speak so much, no substance. When you listen to the people making noise about Goldbod, I say, Sammy Gyamfi, I say, I'm still yet to see anybody come with any evidence to say this and that. And nona ye ka say a car bind way any so. I've not seen anybody. As we speak now, every single statement coming from almost starting as we speak. Or no upon Kumana or starting Goldbod losses, he has decided to speak on it again because he did not have any basis or evidence to make a case. So you can see this conversation about Goldbod, it was purely political. One, a hatred for the person who is leading Goldbod, and two, political talk or political agenda by the NPP to infuse something in the heads of Ghanaians, say BBSC, and so he see it. Two things. Inti, South National Busan will say, you are a businessman. Okofa nyoma, uton nyama o Ghana, or a company. As we speak today, say Goldbod egua, are you going to be happy? No. Why? Because you know deep down, say, the inception of Goldbod, it means sustainable business. Into 90% of businesses and businessmen and investors in Ghana, they wish Goldbod keep doing what it's doing. And actually, you have not been there. Actually, you don't want to accept the truth. But omusika wa omainima omutumdi ya nyoma experience Ekufuado 8 years and NDC 1 year we know. They wish say the Goldbod as we see it, what we really need to do as a nation is to be talking about reforms. Reforms. Now, reforms, we will talk about reforms. But I want you to understand, say, the NPP, and their surrogates like Kofi Bento, the hungry ones, they want to make a point out of nothing. They know for a fact to say, if they do everything possible for Ghanaians to think, say, Goldbod should not be there. They know, say, That is the only thing that is going to create an opportunity for Bawumia to come and say, why BB? We all know the impact of Goldbod or Ghana economy. Now, let's step back a little bit. Now, there was something called PMMC and sana Goldbod eba. My is simple. Remember here omunyo man to join you say yeah na brofotentino. PZ to fontina mwaha. Now me betro why Goldbod no NPP for ya and why they think say if they malign Goldbod no creating pressure be say Goldbod and to me mwa Ghana e be to Ghana for team but Ghana for ankasa nim say benefit a Goldbod no in the history of the Republic of Ghana we kokoa a Goldbod na abe replace and I say abe so a Ghana economy nasne for a long time we relied on cocoa. Now my mention adebi PMMC Goldbod difference in anything my mention ade. Now when you take your time and look at PMMC any Goldbod and Bawumia and for a very long time no now will be a friend PMMC and this is about power and you be a friend Goldbod. Now the two there's difference kesia power. Now if you PMMC and a friend Precious Minerals Marketing Company and no na ewo and sana Goldbod eba. Now PMMC a state-owned company a bindia. But over Goldbod a statutory body created by an act of parliament a Ghana parliament in the Shemra and the T Goldbod at the Bank of Ghana. A act of parliament and the into Bank of Ghana and yendi paba kodia. Bank of Ghana a menewodia the same as Goldbod a act of parliament and the T Goldbod. There's a difference between the PMMC a representing and what Goldbod represents today. If the Goldbod no, you should not see it as something small. It is huge. It is big. It is not something simple. A act of parliament near them be a Goldbod. Now PMMC no, na a marketing and exporting of gold and precious minerals. Time na PMMC ono no mo djuma nyina ne say omo beton gold na omo ton bia kwa monane na omo eden na omo make sure say sa gold no they market and export inti gold ho e de dewuro bi also omo bo efa gold ho no ene gold no ne ton na manomene no time PMMC o no omo djuma die no. Now eba Goldbod no comprehensive regulations, marketing and oversight of the gold sector. Goldbod then said they go deeper. Omuna sebio eba edien gold nanka se wo Ghana ehon ensem atoto ehon emra de o se wo ye de ni se wo ye de o se oto ne de ni se oto bebi a ewo se wutu no emra ewo ho se ne ewo se wudi gold hu dwa wo Ghana no Goldbod no parliament man no eye tumi se obetumi ahihye samra no a make sure say ye goodie no ye sika kokko no sebio enye obia de betuma toto na se inti comprehensive regulations de emra ena de boy sika kokko no ho ban ba na PMMC sin de no mo ye ne say na de obobon dawuro na maton ba sene be ya ye bebo sika kokko no ho ban ye de emra achirechirem abon ho ban esiesie ehu say ye tu ni mra kwan so no na PMMC omonye saade no into also the difference between Goldbod way and PMMC. Now PMMC no na limited and often contested, but when it comes to Goldbod, centralized, standardized and legally enforced as saying regime. Into Goldbod no omodjuma no ekọ enim che PMMC. Into Goldbod no there omo no buhwe gold no from the day the asobebo form etu aya ho adwuma afa ni pansem ehu se entra ni paboni nsem enkohye baby yetu no kwan paso until say ye be scale aton ana say ye be keep no Ghana no Goldbod no echo deep omodwuma no etene etre sebio ebo Ghana sika kokko no ho ban ekosipi bana eye PMMC ni de eye niso ne ntonye ene ehu de urubo eno nko a it also who say PMMC ni Goldbod no the difference is very wide a wide difference. Goldbod no is more detailed when it comes to protecting our gold reserves and making money out of it to benefit Ghana. So PMMC, it looks more like a business venture. It looks more like a profit-making agency. And it na ya advert, na ya tong. But Goldbod, its main focus is to protect a gold, guard it, use regulations for us to get the benefit out of the gold. It's two different things. And you can want some. Now, about a year PMMC, any Goldbod, small-scale mining oversight, minerals involvement, PMMC, omono, about small-scale now. What they do is they are involved. Minimal involvement. Say about gold ni tuo. Say ni abere Chinese ni bi mbejin ko. Obi fantra border. They India ni bi no. Na PMMC. Omu ni sa time no. Omu de omu hiyan se gold bi aba no mato. But over Goldbod, direct regulatory and support role for small scale miners. Into omono baby ye to gold no. Baby a gold no air core. Nipa auto gold no. The auto gold no. Baby also gold no core. Send your baby a buying sano. That is the detailed job of Goldbod. Into the difference between Goldbod and PMMC is shallow. The PMMC guys, they were not doing anything so serious to protect our minerals. But Goldbod, emra parliament actually Goldbod yeninti detailed say ebebo gold no buying kopem say ye Ghana for ye benya ho mfaso na me pese otinyoma we asese ne beya ubehu ejuma Goldbod edi no enye ejuma wa eninti na NPP for hu ni say Ghana for beji Goldbod ni tum se ne omagia tum na there's no way a NPP betu aba power beam because abe change the fortunes of this nation when it comes to us making money out of our natural resource, especially gold. Inti Baomiani NPP for Romunim. Now, let's take our time. Now, Minjuja Bibi Munchro. So I'm a fontina mwaha. So I'm a former here. When it comes to a Goldbod, the core value, and the main reason TIT Goldbod and Machichi. Now, from time almost started say Omoka Goldbod once more TV so there's one thing Mabe who say majority of Ghanaians any Omomuti radio so the TV so Omo person Omo try everything to malign Goldbod or Sammy Gyamfi or the government Omo ntimi say nobody has been able to tell us to say gold now you to Ghana no some foreign company is taking our gold and no quantity na respected John Mahama a total control of our gold by our indigenous companies. And it does not matter the conversation I'm having with TV so. And we Ghanaians can be bold enough to say, gold ounce be a betam no Ghana hano, a Ghana dia. And that alone is called sovereignty. For a very long time, we have always wanted to own our gold. We have always wanted to make sure the gold now was as 100%. For a long time, we did not get that opportunity to own our own gold. Near to Kromana NPP for about power. Omokache say your gold, there is a company called Alpha Stream. Omuye third party, tell me your gold na momo. At a point in our history, not gold or Ghana, people were taking the gold and crossing our borders and taking it out. But as we speak today, nobody can sit on TV or on radio. In fact, the conversation about aggregator, Omoka Bawa Rock, one thing nobody has been able to say, then they say, Bawa Rock na a indigenous Ghanaian company is taking our gold to Europe. Obian Timbian Anonka say, Bawa Rock, Atam Ghana gold, Ediako UK, Akoton. Obian Timinka say, Bawa Rock a foreign company, Yenya Nananum gold, the Mayano, and a Yedia man say, on your aggregator. Nobody. So that alone shows to say, at least for the first time in our history, Ghanaians can say we control our gold. Inti, some conversation about TV, I'm like, okay, so there's one thing that we all agree on. Ghana's gold is being managed by Ghanaians. Ghana's gold is being marketed by Ghanaians. Ghana's gold is being regulated by Ghanaians. Into the argument of, yes, a Bawa Rock company, me who's be alternative, so I can say Bawa Rock every Dubai, Bawa Rock every Burkina, Bawa Rock every Zimbabwe. We all admit to say Bawa Rock is Ghanaian. And that's the most important thing. Meaning, gold no Ghana, say Bar Rock na aggregator, every money stays in Ghana. That is all that we've been asking for. For hundreds of years, we have all been saying, say you own your natural resource. How are we going to own it? There are so many African countries that they cannot even control their natural resource. They do not have full control. For the first time in the history of Ghana, we have a regime that has given full control of our natural resource to Ghanaians. And that alone should tell every Ghanaian, say, we have come to that point whereby we can start developing as a nation. It's when that argument of Bar Rock say, wherever say, aggregator say, I ask myself, I'm saying, at least Obianka say, company no, Ayobro nibi, India nibi, Chinese nibi, and Ghana gold, no, and I say, Yahweh an aggregator, which basically makes me feel, say, at least the government has taken a decision. Ghana for we agree. Remember, Goldbod in just a year, almost to me, I'm making profit of $11 billion. 11 billion. That is not a joke. That is not a joke. In just 12 months, Goldbod na John Mahama eti yede Sammy Gyamfi tuwa no. It has made 11 billion. So imagine if Goldbod tries to even double its revenue every year. That means so one baby on double or 11 billion a year. In 8 years, we are making $88 billion. So sometimes then they sit back and ask yourself, if Goldbod was established in just a year and they have been able to make $11 billion, let's say it's a Goldbod for 8 years, for 12 years, for 16 years, now Goldbod age 11 billion krompa, more reforms. It means say we have one agency, Ghana for there, it's able to cough out $11 billion a year. That is not a joke. So the conversation that you ask yourself, say, what are the positives? Has anything like this happened before? Let's look at the long term. Let's look at the projection. That is why I keep saying, say, Goldbod conversation way, it should have been a conversation about reforms. Reforms. Now, when I say reforms, and not reforms, I don't think my conversation is about reforms, but not about losses and all that. The reason why I'm saying reforms is to say it is because we could not follow through better reforms, you know, and intina cocoa board. Bibi to say cocoa board. We are not able to get full support from cocoa board. We are not able to realize cocoa board ankasa cocoa board, any gold board, there's no difference. Gold board or aggregator. Yakasa aggregator, Sebio, Nipa, Bank of Ghana, Emrano Emano Hokwain, Emani Majum, Emphasican Bonichi, and Nantibakwai, Obuase, Dunkwao, and Chichesika Montuto Gold Mame. Emrano Ghana Mrana Man Hokwain. Enti the Bank of Ghana here and say Bank of Ghana at the Sikanema Gold Board. Now Gold Board cannot just get out and go and be asking Medru Boase one a gold dealer, Jessica Koto Gold Mame, Medru Takwa one a gold dealer. So Gold Board so enya obia Sebio Sikana edition in 7 years Sika emu odu. Na Sebio sa nipa no sa company no almost to say Omangasa almost sika bi dawa sa sika de mo almost say na yebetumi esi awawa. Now when it comes to aggregator, PMMC, the reason why I under NPP, PMMC a boka all those monies ni nyina say omo na PMMC edi sika mo no na there was nothing like a guarantor. They did not have any bank guarantee. Enti PMMC etam sika ma Kevin Taylor is not showing says sika mi kodia sebio mi was sika bi the bank where me di sia wawa. No. Into majority of the sika ya dema inkofo under PMMC no ehye because there was nothing na eye guarantee se nipa no say sika na PMMC betumi aka say we dem dey sia wawa. Now with Goldbod what Goldbod did say they made sure say opesa wo ye aggregator you need to show some kind of a financial backing. A say, yes, you can hear the mauno. So, say, Sikana, who be able to me edge see a nimu. That a friend guarantee, and our bank guarantee. You need to show. You need to be able to prove, say the 100 billion mawa. Say, oko say 100 billion now. Who sika be the bank ya guarantee ya betu mako tamabeshemu. Because Goldbod sika ya Bank of Ghana sika. Bank of Ghana sika Ghana for sika. Until we cannot just hand over the money to you. And then the ma Bower Rock ebeye the aggregator and then go focus say adentina bank Bower Rock and Kwana ya maniska. The Goldbod omo border omo nyina tena say take decisions. Now, Bower Rock was able to prove to Goldbod say, enough money, 2 billion, to serve as a guarantee. Say, but Goldbod money is going to gold, nas or say sikana kra. Yenim send the sika be the banker. You bet ma tam ediati. Now, so we are Ghana nina so pesa we aggregator at the Bower Rocker. All that you need to do is to prove to Goldbod that you have this amount of guarantee at the bank. Sika edawa se Goldbod tam sika mawa ubetumi edi juma se sika ne share yebetumi de no sia wawa. That's all. Bower Rock etumi prove actually Ghana for ni Goldbod say they have that money. Their bankers were able to prove say Bower Rock has that guarantee. Now until so bebeka ebeba bontabeka chem say Sammy Gyamfi and the Goldbod are prevented from being an aggregator, because at this point until we catch them say, oh, this amount of money a Goldbod eka say, you need to be able to provide this amount or this guarantee to be able to be given that aggregatorship a license now. So far, me who will be like I say, minya sikano as Sammy Gyamfi am license no. Now there are people who also want to be aggregators. Now ebi omuni sa bank guarantee, omuni ebi 2 billion da ho. Into what happens and then they say they have different kinds of the guarantors. Into what tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Meaning, one who didn't actually be able to table no so. Bower Rock, it match and who didn't know not to the top of the table. So only Bower Rock and who didn't be and I say the insimudia and I say a guaranteed bia. You go beneath Bower Rock, you need to work with Bower Rock. This is simple. Inti Sametiala say me wo a sa requirement me meet requirement ni say ebi a Goldbod so pay experience of 5 years being in the system for 5 years, working with some companies, having this amount of money, my bank guaranteeing it for me. Why not? You'll be given a license to be a guarantor, aggregator. But if you're not able to make that marker, then baby usike druno, you become an aggregator who work under Bower Rock. It is how this aggregator Bishop Bower Rock asia. What is happening? And they say Bower Rock ni jisikana. Right now, Goldbod tells Bower Rock, Mama 10 billion. Usikana da bank ni siawawa. Omo amushisha wasino, uni omu yejuma mweni nkohu. Because as ikanam di amano, when to me am babaka, I am going to go take your guarantee money. Into all the small aggregators, they are working under Bower Rock. It does not make Bower Rock an exceptional aggregator. It is the same work that they are doing, just that the criteria, and I say what you need to meet, the criteria you need to meet, when to meet here, and it's your division 1, division 2, division 3. Equipment and as a facility at Real Madrid won, and then you be a Fancoba, even though Fancoba Super Premiership. Facilities are Barcelona won, Kotoko Nibi, and so still Kotoko Super Premiership. So you need to understand, World Cup or Krakoba, you'll be BFN teams are yes CD or more. We just don't see them because of warfare. We see them because of their experience and also their rankings, any performance. So the criteria is there. So Ghana, if you don't meet that criteria, see a World Cup draws are you are not seeded. And then also Ghana for TSC, in everything there is a criteria, there is a standard you need to meet. If you are not able to meet the standard, even though you can be part of that group, you will not be given that table. You will not be up there. Into Bower Rock or your license, the aggregator to say but the difference between ono any one say he was able to meet a criteria. So be able to meet this criteria na Bower Rock meet na Sani Pano falls under Bower Rock because you meet the criteria beneath the Bower Rock's criteria. That's all. And there's nothing so sketchy and so weird about say yes Bower Rock and the aggregator. Now, the reason why you don't need too many aggregators in Ghana, and I say, when you give too many aggregators, when you make the criteria easy for anybody to become a first-class aggregator, what happens? And I say, it will get to a point whereby those aggregators will come together, and what they will do, and they say, they will now determine the price for you, Goldbod or Bank of Ghana. Until you see aggregators forming cliques and now going out there and creating a black market price. So if you want to stop that, you don't make the aggregatorship, the first top aggregatorship, you don't make it easy. Because the moment you give them too much power, you get 15, 20 aggregators in the system. What they do is they start to compete against themselves, and now they start to hijack the price. That's when you start to have gold prices to say dollar price. Then they start to give you black market prices. Because every aggregator feels to say their price is supposed to be running the system. But then if you limit the aggregatorship, I'm talking about the picker, what happens? And then they say, it becomes like a triangle. All of them work towards the top until you are able to manage or regulate the prices in the market. And it is very important to say about gold business, any ejuma gold board here, I will say say the NPP no omunim say a Goldbod ejuma omu no, it is going to save Ghana's economy for years. They don't want that. As far as Goldbod is in the picture, NPP will never come to power. Now me can something about Goldbod and Cocobod. Cocobod, aggregators, the greater NPBC, produce buying company, PBC. Goldbod, aggregator, and Barrock. Now PBC no, omuni cocoa catch for the ejuma. Omuni cocoa farmers ni ejuma. Now Goldbod no, Barrock no, ono and on the other smaller aggregators ni ejuma are the same. Now the question here is, because we did not focus on reforms, and your reforms are how to make the work of Goldbod solid, because we failed to put in better reforms, and it's na Cocobod egu, and it's na Cocobod yen to me the amount of money you see in your free home. Now the conversation should be about reforms, a bit to me ama Goldbod I more better, ama Cocobod I very solid. Ama Cocobod etumi esili every single space ebema yesika sam ana ye go dribi krampo etumi lika fa baby, because yentumi anya saade na ama Cocobod nti enende yeti ha. Cocoa is also another natural resource. Why is it say today we are banging all our hopes on gold? The reason is that the reforms you have put in place when it comes to gold, it has been a better reform than the reforms you have put in place when it comes to cocoa. Now listen, the reason why Cocobod buy and say we didn't want Ghanaians and other people smuggling our cocoas out of Ghana. And it's not Cocobod buy. Now we are cocoa ni Ghana. Now farmers be the cocoas no air kwabontene. Now your cocoa dankasa yenton e Ghana buy. Inti Ghana government the BBF the Cocobod buy. Send a bit to me a regulating and monitor a cocoa production in Ghana. Now along the way, what happened? And they say we could not put reforms. As time went on, we did not update. We did not make the reforms stronger. Inti the reforms now we made in the past, we thought to say it is still there, it is still solid. As time went on, technology and the way the world revolves, things started to change. People now had sophisticated ways of smuggling cocoa out of Ghana. People have sophisticated ways of selling cocoa illegally. So what happened is we were using the old reforms to try and prevent today's problems. It wasn't working. For what check here? For a long time, cocoa na a backbone, a support economy. Cocoa started losing that strength. All because the reforms were weak. We did not pay attention to the reforms that were going to make sure cocoa stays in Ghana. Now, what the NDC has done, and they say, they have been able to put reforms together. Some reforms has been able to clamp cocoa. Cocoa gold do na APF free Ghana Goldbod the reforms about etimi stay sa cocoa no Ghana. Inti majority of cocoa a gold and say PF free Ghana Goldbod reforms stop it. It you see say smuggling of cocoa about from. You see say the fake illegal mining na amount for black market system na obody running gold about from. And these are some of the things etimi abuama Goldbod making 11 billion in a year. Now, when you look at this, under NPP. Look at this. Oh, gold. I mentioned explanation. Now, I'm about to show the practical one. Now, in 2000, I mean, enlarge it deal with send a bit easier move. Let me enlarge it. Then you understand what I'm saying well. Now, where your total ASM gold exports. Gold they exported from 2018 to 2025. Now, take your time and watch this. When we say volumes are from 2018, gross weight in tons, yes, gold tons are, exporting 75.7 tons. Value are free mono, 2.8 billion. This is 2018. Now, this was despite a total ban on small scale mining that year. Says a year na Ekufuado de ban eto small scale mining so no. Gold tons are 75.7 tons. Sika free mobile na 2.8 billion. Now the question you ask and say Ekufuado de ban eto small scale mining so then you to 75.7 tons. This is a question that ever seen the NPP are buying to me answer. In 2018, now the ban at small scale mining so. And so, even though not banned that's no 75.7 tons of gold in a Ghana in yaye. Oda basika mua $2.8 billion. So the question is, into ban na na ban da omoso. You can't tell me say the big mining companies in Ghana and they produce 75.7 tons. They don't produce that much. And this is small scale mining gold that we produce here. It means to say time and almost some of the ban in Abahono. People were mining in Ghana. Something was going on. But they told every Ghanaian to say, the ban at and small scale mining. So now come to 2019. Omunya 53.4 tons. $2.2 billion no generate here. 2020, 39.3 tons, 2 billion. Now here. When it comes to 2022, now over 2021 something happened. Here 2021. Omunya 3.4 tons. From 39.3 tons in 2021, at about 3.4 tons. The reason. The reason was that this was the year that 3% withholding tax was imposed on unprocessed ASM gold. In 2021, Bawumiane Ekufuado Mokasa almost the 3% tax at to gold so. Unprocessed gold. In the time almost the 3% tax ever to gold so no. Gold now in 2020 you to me enya 39.3 tons no. At about 3.4 tons. You know why? People started smuggling the gold. Afe na chema untumi mo na NPP forum ya galamse no KTJ amono. What they were doing is they were not now keeping the gold in Ghana. They were using Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire borders. They were smuggling the gold out. In 2021, because of the introduction of the 3% tax on gold, unprocessed gold, some people in the system started smuggling the gold. Say the better buying. Now buying budget 3% there, and then we will go now. Me the beko Togo akoton, me the beko Cote d'Ivoire akoton, me the beko Chinese ni, me the beko India ni. Into the year they introduced the taxes on unprocessed gold, it dropped from 39.3 tons to 3.4 tons in 2021. Now over 2022, now there was the almost who say I feel the gold, Eswati NPP4. And what they did is say 3% VAT na I feel almost about 1.5%. And a free 3.4 tons, it's about 22 tons. So it means to say when you bring the VAT component in, people are going to smuggle the gold. The moment you introduce taxes, VAT on processed gold, Amuamutu gold or Ghana, they will be forced to do what? Sell the gold illegally to Chinese, to the Indians, and then through our borders. Now, NPP before we say from 2021, only 3% better gold, unprocessed gold, at about 3.4. Into 2022, almost okay, 3% VAT, no more year free, so about 1.5%. After gold tons and about kakra, it will do 22 tons. Now here you see, 2023. Now 1.5 withholding tax in force. No, after gold this started say Airbus 37.4. Meaning now people are saying say okay, let's deal with the 1.5. But still, people were doing what? Were smuggling the gold. People were taking the gold out because what the VAT, what the tax I bet to gold now, small scale miners, air mining, the raw gold, you know, or the tax 3% I bet to so. Now something interesting happened. In 2024, 37.4 tons, you know, it came to 63.6 tons. 1.5 withholding tax. Now, something interesting happened. In 2025, NDC bar power and almost scrappy a year VAT 1.5 and our tax in that's no. John Mahama eti Goldbod no and we sa VAT in few. The NDC in 2025 alone, they were able to record 103 tons. In dollar terms, you know, a 10.8 billion. What was the secret? The thinking went into taking away the taxes, creating more room, having Goldbod, making sure you have better reforms, regulations, and rules to protect your gold. That is why you have 103 tons in 2025 with about 10.8 billion staying in Ghana. So a lot of thinking went into it. And the thinking was that put Goldbod together. Let Goldbod put reforms together. Take away the VAT component or tax component. Now people who are miners, small scale miners feel comfortable. Now they are able to sell the gold to the Ghana government. And Intina from 63.6 tons, just in a year, it moved from 63 to 103 tons. From 4.6 billion to 10.8 billion. It is because small scale miners who say, now you bet my ton gold na ma abino. Now abino bo gold no buying, abino air boye, abino air guide ye, abino air make sure say or the mrat to kwemwa yen to me air den nipa bin to me muye. Sa tax na na edaso on unprocessed gold na aban ye fuel. So now the small scale miners are comfortable. They are selling the gold to who? They are selling it to the aggregator. And who is the aggregator? Boadu. They are selling it through aggregators that Boadu is working with. And who is giving Boadu the money? It is Goldbod. Now, who is giving Goldbod the money? It is Bank of Ghana. So at the end of the day, our money is being put to use. At the end of the day, also I say, a Jumana Goldbod, Yama Ghana, no. It is not about to say, Obito or Yedo. Goldbod is changing when it comes to the dynamics, when it comes to our natural resources. This alone should tell you, say, the NDC government, the Goldbod Nayatino, the Bank of Ghana, the inception of Goldbod has changed the dynamics. And into the NPP for, they want to do everything possible and make it look like, say, Goldbod, no, I will say, Sammy Gyamfi, they know, say, as far as Goldbod is in the picture, the NPP can never come to power because Ghana will never go outside and borrow. Ghana, at the end of the day, we will always have gold reserves. Right now, the Bank of Ghana is capping our reserves. They say you need too much gold, and there's so much surprise. Gold prices are going up. If gold prices are going up around the world, it means Ghana is making money. So why would anybody sit in Ghana and say, yeah, and a Sammy Gyamfi and a Goldbod? Goldbod is sustaining our economy. So reforms now. It's Mama Goldbod, I bet this powerful. We still want them to do better. No, say to me, the same reforms at the Cocoa Board. Cocoa Board will be as powerful as Goldbod. Say reforms here, Goldbod Ediaba. We are still calling for better reforms because reforms will come and enough. And I'm pleading with the Bank of Ghana that immediately they should sit down and still draft new reforms, solid one to still protect Goldbod. I want Cocoa Board to also sit down and start putting together new reforms. Because such strategy here, Goldbod using, Cocoa Board can use the same, and then we are going to make extra good money from Cocoa Board. So why are we having problems with Goldbod? It is only the NPP. NPP there are two things here. They naturally hate Sammy Gyamfi because Sammy Gyamfi exposed the NPP. Mamika been sure. Sammy Gyamfi, what it did when the NDC were in opposition. Sammy Gyamfi criticized the NPP. He criticized the NPP with facts, documents, audio, video. Sammy Gyamfi never went on TV to malign anybody. He did not insinuate. He did not make things up. And that is the thing that hurts the NPP. Sammy Gyamfi was hard on the NPP, basing every statement on facts, on evidence, video evidence, paper, everything, documents. And it hurts them to the point whereby they don't know how to do the same thing. It is not you sitting there and saying Sammy Gyamfi Akromfo, Sammy Gyamfi go jail. That is going to make his work at the end of the Goldbod, gold never and betil. No, you need to prove beyond. The reason why Ghana for Sammy Gyamfi communication too, when they say it wasn't just talk, it was talk and add facts to it. It was fact-based communication. That is the main reason why people listen to my platform, not because they may have been to me. It is because we make sure say Asembia Bekano, yeah, the engineer swaka. That is the sword that Sammy Gyamfi, the stabbing he stabbed the NPP in the heart. He stabbed them with facts. He stabbed them with evidence. He was coherent in his delivery. And if you want to prove, say, Sammy Gyamfi Aboka, come with your evidence, be coherent, prove to the people that you have evidence to show. But just to come and say, yeah, and a Goldbod, that will not change the narrative. It will not change the narrative. And secondly, what they are trying to do, they know, say, as far as Goldbod exists, as far as this Goldbod, the Bank of Ghana governor, the finance minister, they are guiding Sammy Gyamfi, and they are going to add more reforms to make it airtight. For Goldbod to be more stronger, no? They know, say, as far as Goldbod exists, the NPP can never come to power. The NPP, their biggest problem on this earth is the Goldbod. Because of Goldbod, today, Ghana government does not even feel like borrowing from outside. They feel comfortable borrowing from Ghana. Because when you borrow from Ghana, at the end of the day, there's nothing like dollar rate changing or the exchange rate affecting Sikara Obobisiano, because you are borrowing in cedis. It is the reason why the government of Ghana today is not out there borrowing dollars, and every single day we are panicking because when the exchange rate is fluctuating, the interest on the loan too starts to go up. So right now, that is why the government of Ghana is always at home borrowing from home, which I prefer. They did not want to TV so any the it is because they know that as far as Goldbod is in existence, the NPP can never come to power. They know. Sammy Gyamfi ni gold no turn weighing. Sammy Gyamfi turn gold no weighing. The question here is, time about Umia Eddie gold for oil buy na gold no turn weighing. Me busa NPP for. Mate se mo make argument to be. Sammy Gyamfi auto gold no, yes auto galam say for gold. Yate. Time about Umia the gold for oil no buy na gold no turn weighing. Wasiafo. Time about Umia, Mahamudu Baumia catcher say, or the gold for oil buy, and that they were able to buy this amount of gold and keep that gold not autono. Where was Baumia buying the gold from? You the MPP mwe Jimmy. You people still don't want to understand, say, or mine yet no, ya mfa the day and then kwasi akeka, ya the facts na teacher mine. Ya the engineer so. Time up Baumia any MPP for the gold for oil buy no. Na omuto gold ni free hin. No muto in Somalia. No muto gold no munya way. That na ga himself when you na small scale man is in you. And then ended the Goldbod. To me make a profit of 11.8 billion. Now can Sammy Gyamfi gold no or turn the himself for now gold for oil gold near ton way. Now when I'm on a ton. You see, this is the foolishness of the NPP. The Goldbod has come to stay, and let me tell you for a fact, nobody in Ghana can change the minds of Ghanaians. Yeah? Ghana Nibia, where she said Goldbod will stay forever. Go around and ask the business community. Go around and ask the investors. Ask the traders. Everybody wants the dollar to remain where it is. Everybody wants fuel to remain where it is. Everybody likes where the economy is now. Now, why would anybody who wants the dollar to stay where it is now at 10, wants fuel to go down, wants the economy to be better the way it is, why would anybody say, Goldbod, we should shut it down? No. Goldbod has come to stay. It will stay forever. What we need to do as a nation now, and it is my plea to the Bank of Ghana governor, to Sammy Gyamfi, and to the President of the Republic, Goldbod needs more reforms. because reforms now it is not enough. We still need to tighten the reforms. We still have to make it difficult for people to steal our gold. We still have to make it deadly. We still have to make people think, to even think of Ghana gold, so baby, we are a haram. We need to make the reforms tighter. Give a lot of room to the small scale miners. Give a lot of room to the aggregators. Let us be able to give them enough freedom for them to trade. Let us also monitor the mine, how it is done. The reforms should be very strong. We need to protect the gold. It should not end here. In the time Ankofo got a news file, time I bright Simon I'm saying, you people, with all due respect, you are supposed to be discussing reforms, because at this point, why in a better Goldbod for 1 year and can be making over 10 billion and you have a problem with it, unless you are insane. Since Ghana was put together, no agency has been put together. It's been making the profit Goldbod has made. If you sit on TV and say you're a social commentator, you have learned this book, you are part of this, and you cannot get the picture, your horizon cannot picture what Goldbod can bring, and you not know, say we need more reforms to make it more better and create more revenue, then your reasoning power is very low. If the argument is going to be about Sammy Gyamfi, it's going to be about Kabiaba, the argument is not about Ekaba, Sammy Gyamfi, the argument is about the positives we have made in the history of the Republic of Ghana. The Goldbod, no government agency or no institution that was put together by Parliament has been able to make it. What we need to do is to better it. The conversation should be about reforms. The conversation should be about having better reforms to make Goldbod better than it is now. Let us transfer that reform to Cocobod. Sika yenya no Cocobo no, si yenya better reforms, Cocobod will be as lucrative as Goldbod. Why are we sitting here talking stupid English? Jimini Bia betina TV swa na okasa by heart. No sense. Unnecessary stupid talk. Now, let me show you the things Goldbod is doing that Cocobod is not doing. And if Cocobod decides to do what Goldbod is doing, we will have Cocobod and Goldbod bringing in so much money to the point whereby Ghana wouldn't have to go out there and borrow. Now, let me show you one. Thank you very much, team, for bringing this in. Now, these are some of the things that Goldbod is doing now. Cocobod is not doing. Look at this. What Goldbod is doing that Cocobod is not doing. One, Goldbod, Oba, Goldbod action, Cocobod status. Now, sole export, Goldbod, sole export authority for ASM Gold, Cocobod, license multiple LBCs and exporters. Now, it is so check here, Goldbod, it is the sole exporter. Now, Uba Cocobod, they have licensed multiple LBCs. What is happening is there are too many LBCs in the system. Cocobod is not able to monitor. How they are able to monitor the cocoa, its movement, its price, and I don't know. Cocobod is not able to fully have control over it. But Goldbod has full control because it is the sole exporter or export authority. It is only Goldbod that can export gold. You are able to control the gold. You are able to control the quantity. You are able to control the value. You are able to control its export. But Cocobod is not doing that because Cocobod has multiple LBCs. And that is what Cocobod needs to do. Cocobod needs some reforms. We need to make sure we have some reforms. A bit to me, I'm a Cocobod. I am strong to say, Eddie and Goldbod. Goldbod reforms, we still need to tighten it up. Now we have something called mandatory real-time assaying before export. Goldbod, they make sure before gold is taken out, they are in charge. The assaying and everything, they are in control. But when it comes to Cocobod, no real-time cocoa grading at point of aggregation. So what happened? And they say, Cocobod, they don't have control on even before the cocoa is exported. They don't even have, they don't have full control over the cocoa beans. They don't know how it is managed. The processes and what it goes through. Cocobod has limited hand on it. So Goldbod, Cocobod, you could see say Goldbod is actively involved in how the gold is being exported. Assaying of the gold and making sure everything is done right. Real time, they are there. But cocoa board, no, there is this gap between cocoa board and the process. Into the piano, the loopholes, the leaks, are there. That is why cocoa board is not able to achieve its revenue target. Now, digital traceability from source to export. Goldbod is able to track its gold digitally. They are able to tell you, say, gold way waha, gold way for her, gold way be ha, gold way do say, and an ounce will not be missing. By cocoa board, the cocoa management system, the CMS, roll out incomplete. Now, cocoa board are not able to trace the beans. See, a time beans if you require. Cocoa board does not have knowledge how the beans is going to get to where it has to get to before it's exported. Into cocoa board, they have very limited interference, and I say limited contribution when it comes to send a cocoa and babedru and sana cocoa nako. Into utmisha say Goldbod, they have full control, and until a code board is making that much money, cocoa board can make same. But the issue here is it is all about reforms. It is all about Imrana Yeshano. It is all about making sure the reforms are strong, they are solid. The laws now, they protect cocoa and now gold, it is solid. Into the conversation should be about reforms. The conversation should not be about profit. The conversation should be about reforms. When you get the reforms right, the profit will come in its numbers. Say, unya reforms in the writer. Forget about profit. It will come and you'll be shocked. Because it is only the reforms that can seal the loopholes. If you don't have better reforms, you will never meet your target. The reason why Goldbod is meeting its target is because the reforms now that Goldbod is using is a solid reform, and they still need to do more. If CocoaBoard wants to get the same revenue target or get close to it, the Goldbod, they need to have serious reforms. Now, reform opportunity for CocoaBoard. Create a centralized cocoa export clearing house or single export desk. So CocoaBoard needs to do that. They need to have a centralized cocoa export clearing house or single export desk. There should be one desk that oversees the export of cocoa in Ghana. Right now, we don't have anything like that. So what is happening? And they say, cocoa is going in different directions. And CocoaBoard is struggling to track every single cocoa. At the end of the day, the works become difficult. It's one thing. CocoaBoard into been tracking to say cocoa dibia faha, yes, cocoa dibia faha. But if CocoaBoard is able to trace every single cocoa, like the way Goldbod is able to trace every single gold in the system, and it is all through reforms. If you have better reforms, you will be able to trace every single cocoa, and your revenue will jump. So the conversation is not about Sammy Gyamfi. The conversation is not about how much money. The conversation is about reforms. When the reforms are better, we will not be having this conversation about 240 million and the ASEA and the aggregator. That does not come in. What we need to be doing now, and the so-called think tanks, the so-called political insects, they need to come to the table and start thinking about reforms. They need to come to the table. This is the time you need to come submit reforms to make sure, say, Goldbod becomes more profitable. How does it become more profitable? It is only through reforms. It is only through making sure the leaks that's going to make us lose money, lose gold, lose revenue, we are able to block it. You can see, say, the LBCs, the license buying companies, that works for CocoaBoard, there are too many. The trick now, CocoaBoard, Goldbod, and say they have one aggregator who is working with lower tier aggregators. That is all. CocoaBoard should have one desk and work with those beneath it. If they don't do that and they have all these license buying companies, they will start stealing the cocoa. They cannot manage it. It will be leaving Ghana. Goldbod has done something extraordinary. We are not supposed to underestimate it. This is the time we need to say, okay, 1 year, Goldbod has made this money. 1 year. For all these years, we were not able to tell ourselves it's a gold in here. For the first time, we have an aggregator, a Ghanaian company. One company called Boadu. For the first time in our history. Today, we are proud on TV and we are discussing a Ghanaian company that is an aggregator. Hey, are we not happy about it? So far, Mantis Obika say, Boadu Adia Gold at the Kwabruchi. Obia say Boadu a Ghana company. Obia say it's in Ghana ha. Obia say I don't know a Ghana near the man. We understand say a Ghanaian can also be an aggregator. Under NPP, we had Alpha Stream, a Dubai boy, some guy be from Dubai, third party. He took our gold and put in ship. So or the Koje oil bread near to Ghana and Kwasia for NPP. Today we don't have anything like that. And I get happy when I see these people sit on TV discussing a Ghanaian company that is buying gold for Ghana. I get happy. We should give opportunities to others. But there is a criteria. There is a standard. If you don't meet it, there are other standards that you can meet. Why don't you go to the other one if you can meet the top notch? That's how it works everywhere. It is a Barrock meet standard, not an aggregator. If you think you can meet the standard, go meet that standard and also be an aggregator. That's it. Not Sammy Gyamfi and I'll say aggregators normally have 3, but 2 of them fell short. They did things that were against the rules and regulations. So their licenses were stripped. Now they are falling beneath Barrock. That is how the law should work. And I can tell you that that is the only way you realize your dream. Until what Goldbod is doing is exceptional. They didn't NPP before you, forget you. And nothing is going to change the dynamics. Goldbod has come to stay. We should tighten the reforms. Bank of Ghana governor, the finance minister, Sammy Gyamfi, you guys should sit down, call all the stakeholders, let us think and tighten the reforms. And yes, sir, Sibia yati cocoa board and ni aji cocoa board. I kaze cocoa board na ebe boa a protect your cocoa and the cocoa board is as weak as Jantre ni draws. Today ebe tina cocoa ni namha, ne cocoa namha, ne cocoa namha because emrano emu ago. Emrana yede ti cocoa board no, ye jambrano ma emrano emu ago. Time has changed. Technology has been has evolved. Things have changed. Reforms needs to be done. Mommy and Shady Yaya no Goldbod. The John Mahamani NDCIA. This president, this government, this Goldbod, this Bank of Ghana, this finance minister, they are doing something exceptional. Let us support them. Goldbod has come to stay. The nightmare of the NPP is Goldbod. Let us not allow them to fool around. Let us support Goldbod. So every year Goldbod can bring in $10 billion. We are good. That's all that we need. The dollar will never cross 12. If Goldbod can give us $10 billion every year, every investor is safe in Ghana. The Bank of Ghana will not be printing money. The government of the day will not go out and borrow. All that we need to do is to put together reforms that will protect our gold, will protect the small-scale miners, it will protect the aggregators and protect Goldbod. That's all that we need. If Goldbod can give you and I, this country, $10 billion a year, we are good. And let us protect Goldbod. Let us call for reforms. Let us not join this bus of noisemakers and political dogbasses. They are ignorant fools who know our biggest threat as a political party, NPP, the Goldbod led by Sammy Gyamfi. A year 1050. And there, Mahamudu Bawumia NPP for $1 no, was 1780. Time ana Bawumia, Ekufuado, Oforiata, Cabinet Japan, Canada Japan, Country. Omo makadi nyina wa ban mu anom so mu nyansa no. Omo free aban mu no. Na dollar no was 17. Remember, the economic management team no na Mahamudu Bawumia and the lead management team no. The funny thing is, time the economic management team ne buy na Bawumia ne di enimu no. Na dollar no 3.7. Amount for 4.2. Omo boa mon kodam ko check refacts no. Na 3.7. Bawumia olidi the economic management team, the FX committee. Bawumia odi gold for oil, on an SCS or the buyer. Bawumia on the dear Denkwana, Yamfamano, na the Enya Yamfame Kufuado no. Ya did dollar no Eshen in Sano. Bawumia air free power no, na dollar no, was 1780. And the NDC atna abemu 1 solid year. Omobeto dollar no was 1780. Na bibia jiegu. Menoka say, the first time in the history of the Republic of Ghana, Bronya ebin sida. The first time in the history of Ghana, during Bronya near Tipetruso. The first time in the history of Ghana, during Bronya, not dollar, kofom, ebin sida. It is under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. And the Menoka say, it was January 2025. The NPP for Kachere say, some Mahama ni NDC ba power. Dollar ni bedu 2025. Menoka say, the dollar is lingering around 10.50 and 10:45. This is Aban Papa. This is good governance. This is what we have been talking about. Na ye de de ye ka se yento aba ense Jimmy for ne amfa nyansafo medi Ghana so no na nya se bia ye tan ne epese wusi wadwuma ene wusi kasam ejina ne na so ne epese mo amudi dwa mo amokofa nyomo abrochire mo amoton spare parts mo amoye edien Ghana fo a mo ye dwadifo mo a mo ho ehinha mo no na mo ho kire mo no ye pese mo hinha mo. This is what we were calling for. As we speak today, every importer and exporter is happy because dollar na yedidi juma ewa abrochire ni Ghana no, and the dollar no are stable. It stabilize it. It is all because of edien omo yedi tumi ahye omo nsa nyansa ene senia omo kura Ghana ne chichireye. The Bank of Ghana, the Goldbod, the finance minister, the president of the republic, all these people are working hard to make sure say on be protected or assets, on be protected or investment, on be protected or capital. That is why today the dollar is at 10.50. Mameka be been show say Goldbod, you good in that the dollar will go to 30. In the way invest and then I will shamia. Did that NPP ye nyina say Goldbod ni wa. Sebio koko ni wa sebio se yenya nyansafo mo manchekere Ghana sebio sika sembe sei eni nti no mani abri denden omodi omani akosi Goldbod so omodi omani akosi Sammy Gyamfi so ba nwumbre ye bedwudwam ye be ma Ghana for matiase atra NPP AD adekudie nti a the Goldbod a John Mahama ne NDC de baye no etumi ama Ghana ejina ne nanso. The first time in the history of Ghana bronya ye hunsa dollar ekofom da enso under John Mahama any NDC no bronya edi na dollar ne kofom and John Mahama ne NDC no bronya edi na air friend saying petrol air kofom. This is what we call good governance. Aban Papa and then you bring the Magana for atiasie you see as afifu from aban we atre say ombetumi achechire oman no aban we atre say nyansa ye de chechire man no omo obi and the Ghana for ye nyina ye ndi yawo ewe yemu and the edwadifo sebio obo kra nyoma omo amoton nyama obia wo edien ayemhye obia wo what we call confidence in the economy, confidence in the chichire man and the so sika ekoto bank awunsu and the so koda as an investor, as an importer, as an exporter awunsu because when we say adie bechi no dollar no enya de be free 10 akodu 17 and that is what we voted for. It mama yankutem distractions ne de wo ho ye tietia nipa bi ka ye tietia media fo bi ka ye tietia nkofo bi ka se omo bedaada mo betwa mo ntro se Ghana ye din enso wo udi bronya 2020 udi bronya 2021 udi bronya 2022 udi bronya 2023 and 2024 sa 2025 bronya udi ni nansen o se difference wom if you say ende Ghana ni bi ehu se enye ko antise payday ende Ghana fo tumi to edien emu ko fie etumi to enam akokɔ ekofie Ghana ni etumi ekotua ne tight and the Ghana ni etumi efa car ehu se petrol bo aba form we intine nyina ka se yembo ye homodin na yen toaba na yenyi NDC na yembo NDC ho ban for the next 41 years na omundi Ghana so in this how hwamia aban papa ba me ne wo mienu ne ebetuma criticize aban no me ne wo mienu ene ebetuma gina aban ne kon homa na ye de ye pe me ne wo mienu ne ebetuma boa aban we ma aban we aye de ye ne ye pe inti it is up to you and myself to protect this government, to guide this government. So we need to be honest, tell them in their face and correct them. You need alternative BIBM as a nation. Our only alternative is the NDC led by John Mahama, the NDC that is ready to work, the NDC that is ready to serve. That is the alternative. The alternative is the NDC and the government is the NDC. Into any alternative biano, I want to say the age for yet the Nimbun Jim. The animal say ye ko osra hinim. The ebeya ko osra hinim no enne hia ye. Ye nima de friend bonsam jim. As far as ye nim bonsam jim no, the ya ne papa. Because papa nko na de be ko osra himemu. Inti ye mienu me ne wo ye Ghana fo a ye ni alternative in politics no. Our only alternative is the NDC. And the only NDC ye betuma aboa amana chechire man no ena wo se de ni ti omo so. Inti ye de ye nim hwe. Ye nim bonsam jim. And ye nim bone. The animal say papa because you say papa ni we are a osra himemu ni ebeko. Into our alternative is the NDC and the NDC is the only option ye nyina I will say ye di na ye boa e ma chechire Ghana e ma ye nyina. Now mama yenko enim na yendwudwam team stay with me. Nipa bebre on platform no so. Kevin Taylor bomidin dabi ye de ahyehyɛ so. Oh. See senior madam bio. Police officer penyini pa also your goal is an offside goal. Oh, madam. Yeah, sanka ojire mbianka hu senye easy madam. Masam go no. CBS working madam menkasa o the nipa nche o. Ai a clear cut go pa. Sa man for hwe form na. On say get for be hwe dan hu form. On say for no hu form no. O ankofo na me no mo hwe form no say me to be boo name. Ai ti madam na form sa. Now let's move on. All right, thank you, sir. Now, in the dollar no, and the dollar no 10.50 and a John Mahama NDC. Pound sterling 14.17 and our ba euro 12.33. Aban papa ba inti mama maye ndi ho agro. Mama yembo ho pan na yemboa emagana enjina na so. Yeah, ba kill jandams bi ansana ye di dwumade na hyehyɛ so. And this is one story and the circulating on social media so ni nyina otrofo Azani Munafiki Mahamudu Bawumia or say, if God chose King Cyrus, who was not a Jew, then God can choose Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is a Muslim, to lead Ghana. Bawumia says, Onyankopon to me, Obia, your friend of Cyrus, Anna onye Jew ni, Emma to me, et me, Ebedi, Omonima, and there also Mahamudu Bawumia, Onyamibe to me, you know, Amana Bedi Ghana, so not Bawumia, yes, yes, so the any case you for. Baumia may sure say, I know maybe or tafre double to Baumia. Yes, so the any case you for. Asante former pa, co former pa, enzima former pa, and I wanna for and tough former pa. Yeah, then they beg you for. Where you for us? But the fact of the case is, I say, somebody needs to tell Baumia and the NPP say. He did not lose the elections because he's a Muslim. And that is one thing Bawumia is not getting. And it's something that he knows, but he just doesn't want to accept. You people should let Bawumia understand that the 2024 elections he lost, he lost it because Ghanaians got to know he's a liar. He's incapable of managing the affairs of this nation. That's all. It is not about Bawumia being a Muslim or Bawumia being married to somebody from Chad. No. Mahmoud Bawi needs to understand, said this kind of petty, childish, sympathetic politics, no, it does not work again. In 2024, 90% of the people who voted and voted the NPP out of power, they voted because they had assessed you for 8 years. And they have come to that point, say, you don't have the intellectual know-how to be the leader of this nation. So it's got nothing to do with Osuma Osum. It's got nothing to do with tribal Ufrim. And you people need to get to that point and understand the Ghana for Jimmy. Let me tell you. Say Obia Ostate religious politics, it was you, Mahamudu Bawumia. You went to the north and told our brothers and sisters in the northern region, say, because we are in Kremoninti, Yan Twaba Maumedi president, Sebio, in so be in Krebonina Sebio with Jimmy, I'll say man be the president. So this kind of petty tribal religious politics, you started it and you still not learned any sense to say the new Ghanaian, the young Ghanaian, the Gen Zs, they don't care about this kind of mifriha, michiniha, or somewhere na mismo. They are looking at your intellectual know-how, how consistent you are, how truthful you are, and how you can solve their problems for them. We are one of the longest serving running mates in Ghana. And we are the longest serving vice president in Ghana. Inti so be catch say obi a friend Cyrus Onyankopon say na onye Jew ni man be di Jew for so ye na Jew for. And you need to get the basics right. 90% of the people who voted because no more chiromo. They voted because you lied to them that you were going to make sure their businesses survive. They voted against you because they could not trust your words. They voted against you because the jobs you said you were going to create, NAPCO, what, you could not create them. They voted against you because you said you were an economist or you are an economist and that you could sustain the economy, you could manage the economy to the point whereby the dollar was going to go lower than where you inherited it. But at the end of the day, they realized that the dollar was killing them. Their capital were all being swallowed up by your bad policies. So 90% of people who voted did not vote because you were Muslim. 90% of people who voted against the NPP did not vote because of one time. They voted because you are not intelligent enough to manage the affairs of this nation. And when it is better you come to that realization. King Cyrus, maybe I don't care about King Cyrus. Who the heck is King Cyrus? Deɛ me maame bɛdi organ na ehia me. Deɛ me wɔfa ɔwɔ Antombra ɛbɛdi na ehia me. Deɛ me nua ɔfa nyoma ɛwɔ Togo. Ni sika sɛbi on capital ɛnhye na ehia me. Na King Cyrus deɛ me ɛfam ho bɛn. But you are still not getting it. You are still being misled. The people are telling you, sir, because you are incredible, losing here, that is where you are getting it wrong. You lost because you are not smart. You lost because you are not intelligent. You lost because you are a liar. You lost because the people, the citizenry, they lost that respect for you. They were heartbroken. They did not believe in your words, and they still don't believe in your words. So it's about time you sat back, had a very strong reflection, and then understand and respect the intelligence of the people. And because these kind of things, it will not convince anybody to vote for you. Face the reality. Let them know the truth. Stop acting as if you're a child. Let the people know that we messed up. I am not qualified to be an economist. When was the last time you spoke about the economy, Baumia? You have been working around the nation saying, oh, your campaign. When was the last time you spoke on the economy? You have never spoken on economy again, Adentra, because you know from day one you were lying to the people. You are waiting for mistakes to happen for you to pounce on it. We are not stupid. Mistakes will happen, but we are not going to give you an opportunity. Mistakes will happen, but we are not going to give you an opportunity because you are not intelligent enough to solve problems. And that is what you need to know. But we are going to be critical and factual. You do one grache. Se wa danisa shwa. Onam Ghana ye di blade kan o se ye. Yede tata blade kan o se we. Yede Gillette kan o se say. Why don't want shwa yen kan ho asem. De bia no asrenke. We need to let you know the truth. Ain't get it right. Stop tickling yourself. Stop massaging your own balls. Face the reality. You lost not because you are a Muslim. You lost because the people don't trust you. You lost because the people know now. You have been exposed. You are not smart. You are not intelligent. You cannot handle the economy of this nation. You lost because you are a liar. You lost because the people have no trust in you. Deal with these things. Deal with these things. And stop the comedy of you trying to be... You are not going to get any sympathetic vote in Ghana again. The young Ghanaian is not willing to give anybody a sympathetic vote. The young Ghanaian is waiting for you to convince them. Through Wankasa Wanwasem and the young Ghanaian. So that 1992 kind of politics, go for the Noya Santinio and NPP, it's about what you can do, especially when you have been a vice president. Nana Dankwe Kufuado in 2012 or whatever, when 2016, 90% of Omoto Obama Kufuado, they knew Kufuado wasn't smart. They knew Kufuado was ignorant. They knew Kufuado was daft. They knew he was a crackhead. Majority of the people who voted for Kufuado, they voted for Kufuado because of you. You were moving around the nation like a headless chicken, putting together symposium, explaining to Ghanaians how you can solve our economic problem. Yeah, the problem now we're to solve it for 8 years. Today you are telling us, say, Yanko Israel, Nana Obi a Jew ni, and Nana onye Jew ni. Now we tell you the Jew for some fan. Woman Prusini, yet two Israel ni o Jews, Israel for Krum, fan home. They are buying way, yet no cre, a buying way, a mistake, ye betiano, a buying way, ya, ye bona basso. So be an agency or the atro any jandam, ebe da Ghana for Igua buying way Masia. We will be the firewall. We will stop it, and that is what we are doing. We will never underestimate the intelligence of Ghana for wow, Biano. There are millions of people. It is just that omunya opportunity need to sit here like myself. I will never sit here and think what I will do here is to make sure the facts and a media show Makano Kreno, Abraham mentioned the skirt. No one who said the air kunye. You won't pay for me. I cannot underestimate their intelligence. You won't cry yes smart. So I will do my best to make sure say Nipa na wotie no meka say ampa akwa we bume. That is what I do here, and that is what we will do here. Say ne be na protect aban no. I protect John Mahama. I protect NDC aban no. Omo mistake aye ntwema omo. And I want to serve this message. We are Ghana ni na we Ghana. Let me say this. If you're a Ghanaian, it does not matter baby awo. Say Obi Bekachiro say they work with Kevin Taylor, especially at any of the ports in Ghana. That person is a liar and a thief. You need to report them to the Ghana Police Service. If you are an importer, you are an exporter, you work at the ports in Ghana, any of the ports. I want to put this out there because Matisse in Kofobi di Midin and in Ghana ports no at the bonko for chrono. If I want to investigate people, I know the people I will send out there to do my investigations for me. And if you work at Ghana port, say we are exporter, we are importer, we are custom official. If anybody tells you Kevin Taylor is my friend, I have Kevin Taylor's number. In fact, I've spoken to Kevin Taylor, and that because of Kevin Taylor, give me this. That person is a thief. I want to put this out there. There are people going around in Ghana, especially at our ports, telling people that I am their friend and that they are extorting money from people. I don't work with anybody at the port. Mini obia ni Ghana port am ni ejuma. Me ekwamiti yi, me nto ade bia shipping by Ghana. Me nto bibia da shipping by Ghana. I have no business at the port. I don't work at the port. I don't have anybody who work for me at the port. If you are an investor, if you are an exporter, if you are an importer, na say obi ekachro say manisika way and that why a BB Kevin Taylor and Adamfu into that person is a criminal. So who means to reach me and I'll put the person's face on my TV for you. I don't deal with anybody at Ghana port. I don't work at Ghana port. Mini Adamphobia, mini Juma. I don't work with anybody. Maybe Ghana, I bet one or two of these things. And I want to put it out there. Nobody should give anybody any money. Nobody. Nobody. Men tamusika ma obi enka say or Kevin Taylor downfall or so on Kevin Taylor na ejuma or so we say uye bibi say me person me investigate obi a. I have ways I investigate people. And you the people doing that, I am working on you. I'll come put your faces on my TV. Take Kevin Taylor's name out. I want this record to be set and sana ma charge. Take my name out of your chrono. My guys are on the ground. We will get all of you, your pictures, your faces. I'll place them on my TV for the world to know chrono amobon or port. I don't work with anybody at the port. I need to put this disclaimer out. Because me charge here a bad time. We are Juma port, we are importer, we are gang. Obi Bekajo Sadam for Kevin Taylor. Obwa is a liar. That person is a liar. It does not matter how long the person has worked at the port. Maybe you know the person. Maybe that person has been working at the port for years. It does not make me a friend to the person. Mema kwasiampenyi bia mbeda ada o meji usika. Me American ameti, me nyejuma Ghana port. Me betina kroma me ntoka bia mba Ghana. Me nye business bia o port wo. Me nkancho bia so me investigation o port mame. The port, they have authorities there omuyo mojuma. So I want to put this out there. Yanko enim. All right. The next time I come and speak on this matter, I'll put faces because my team, they are working on it. And I want to put faces up. Send be a Ghana for be mo amote Ghana mo bo chrono in the name say we don't do anything bad but mo ye wifo mo de nkofo din na ebu nkofo port. Mema obi anko bo me din o baby say madam for Kevin Taylor anti mamiska we hey. The next time I met sa no. Okay. Now Yanko enim. This is another story I want to kill. Where you want jandama, we need to finish that jandam quickly. And when we say NPP 4 no, they have nothing to hold on to. Right now, they are on the Jandam spree. Omo person omo forcia na omo de BB Esha Baumia Kong. Baumia has nothing to his name. Let me state this. If Mahamudu Baumia believes, say, Waye Juma, he should run on Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's record. John Dramani Mahama or the Atamils, any JJ Rawlings record, and or the Juma. In fact, 90% of John Mahama, time and now the campaign or person be the president, you know. Every time you because was say time and now on any boss ye Juma no. Time on your opportunity no. In this about me per se, Ghana for Gini di say or ye Juma and the Akufo-Addo or near Akufo-Addo ye Juma. He should not run away or shy away from Akufo-Addo's record. So Baumia intima for Akufo-Addo and the campaigner, na Baumia him so near Akufo-Addo nyina omonya papa. So Mahamudu Baumia cannot tell us today, say, where the Yamfa associate no. Now, where the Mammy Yamfa associate no. I don't think Yamfa PDS Akufo-Addo. Yamfa Napco Emma Akufo-Addo. And then Yamfa scandals ne chrono Emma Akufo-Addo. Na ebidia Yamfa Baumia adentra. Mahamudu Baumia should run on the Akufo-Addo's record. En kwasiade Akufo-Addo ye nyina no Baumia ka ho cabinet no ye. Now, the fake news, joy news, they are trying something. NPP for themselves Baumia only credibility biya, only record paper biya. So they are forcing something for Ghanaians to believe. We are here to kill that jandam. Now, that's sorry, joy news for say. My fact check be. Now, claim say Mahamudu Baumia and the brain behind Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program no cre. It is a lie. It is false. It is fake news. It's a lie. Joy News, they have taken money. They want to try and project Baumia. They know Baumia does not deserve any projection. I would say this on authority. The issue are Joy News person almost peddle the falsehood they want to peddle. The lies they want to put in the system that Baumia is the brain behind Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program. No, it is false. It is not true. And let me tell you this. Your reason to just say Baumia can never claim any credit for a domestic gold purchase program now. A C or Ghana no. You know the reason? Because the domestic gold purchase program no, Enya Mahamudu Baumia and the buyer. Gold ay toton or Ghana, edema Ghana. Ye this Emma Ghana no. Ye ka say domestic gold purchase program na. Gold na ye toto edema ye Ghana. Ye ko Bank of Ghana no. Enya Mahamudu Baumia na start ye. Enti say omo pese omo de credit bi ma Baumia, omo fa E11 koma Baumia. Omo fa PDS en koma Baumia. Omo fa dollar from 3.7 to 17 en fa ma Baumia. For inflation that got all the way to 57% in Emma Baumia. For all the atrocities, the killing of people during elections, no for ma Baumia. For ye did yet ye kana a die so almost $1 trillion. For enswa Baumia. For the DDEP, for ma Baumia. They cannot ignore all these things and come and tell us say domestic gold purchase program Baumia de buy inti enya de yentuma Baumia. You people are insane at multimedia. And if you think you can keep doing those jandam things, we are not going to allow anybody to lie to Ghanaians again. In fact, let's go into the wagon. Yanko wagon, team, stay with me. Now, when you look at this document, 2021, where ye Ernest Addison, 2021, the time and omo lanche what we call the domestic gold purchase program. Remarks by Dr. Ernest Addison, Governor, Bank of Ghana, 2021. And Bank of Ghana ankasa ekasa the Governor Addison na oneba omiani Akufo-Addo juma. They were launching this program, domestic gold purchase program. Now we as a Ghana, you see so as a nation. You will go there, it's a big question, and it's a question that we need to answer. Now, so one gets go back into the records, sir. Time a Bank of Ghana in 2021, almost launch a domestic gold purchase program. No, the governor of the Bank of Ghana said something. Now, Adia Okaye. Now, when you read the document, on one speech, we are going to take our time and do this. Senebeya, Kwasiabi, Enka say, Mahmoud Bawumia did domestic gold purchase program. No, ebaye. What Joy News put out there is false. Never, or ever believe Sasabna Joy News Akano. Now, the CEO of the Minerals Commission was there, the CEO Ghana Chamber of Mines, the CEO Precious Minerals Marketing Company PMMC was there, CEO of mining companies were there, director and staff of Bank of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the speech of Addison. Now, when see the speech of Addison, now you say, domestic gold purchase program, no, Bawumia de buyer, and I said it was something that existed already before Mahmoud Bawumia came into office. It says this, the introduction. It says, good afternoon to all, and let me welcome you all to this special event. This is Addison speaking. This is his introduction. It is a great pleasure to be part of this momentous occasion of launching Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchasing program. You will recall that during the February 2021 MPC press conference, I had projected that we will be ready to commence this program by the middle of the year. 2. This event is indeed historic, as it marks the first time the Bank of Ghana is embarking on a domestic gold purchasing to augment our foreign reserves with a view of doubling gold holdings in our foreign exchange reserves portfolio. Or say, historic because this is the first time Ghana, to gold, de kwakwe day, akoka gold ya wo hoda da ho. You can say augment. That means uwo gold wo hoda da. Na sebio na enseni inti o launch program wo ya gold na ye ba benya nsisia no ye de ba be ka de wo ho. You can say augmenter. Ebi wo ho na ye de soso ana ye hyemu kena. Inti omo be ye launch we na gold wo ho na enye dodo no. Ye program we na de abeka dodo no ho. Meaning the statement was telling you say we already had gold reserve. Now gold wo hodada. Whether it was bought from outside or from Ghana, Ghana already had reserves. Now gold is siho. Now, so anima or say this event is indeed historic as it marks the first time Bank of Ghana is embarking on domestic gold purchasing to augment our foreign reserves with a view to doubling gold holdings in our foreign exchange reserves portfolio. Now, it therefore marks a significant change in the modus operandi of Bank of Ghana's foreign exchange reserve management operation. Enti, okurenim no, now person just say, yesika $1 dollar any gold no. Sa domestic gold program we are omo air launch no. Eno na edi gold ni bi eba beka ye dollars wo edi sebio ye den ye gold na ebi wo no. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me share a little bit of history on the importance of gold as a monetary asset. During the era of the gold standard, currency issued by central bank has to be fully backed by Yanko Ninientwaso. I want you to get all the facts. Team, stay with me. Or say, gold measured in troy ounces at that time. The gold standard measure of assessing the strength of currencies was later abandoned at the turn of the 20th century when economies began printing currencies without the backing of gold. Since this transition, currencies have been backed by a variety of instruments, including gold, government bills and stocks, and first-class bills of exchange. In fact, when Ghana issued its jurisdictional currency in 1958, the original currency cover assets for the currency issued included gold, sterling, and core money in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and British Treasury bills with maturities not exceeding 3 months, among others. Now, when you go to the part that is marked red, say na Addison Kaye, or say the history of monetary management has revealed that while gold in the reserve cover mix was not given much weight, the history of monetary management has revealed that while gold in the reserve cover mix was not given much weight, the managers of the economy during the 1960-61 financial year took a bold decision to increase the amount of gold to be held in the cover asset mix for the city. As a result of this decision, a small amount of refined gold, valued at around $3.7 million, at that time was bought overseas and transported to the bank's vaults. The fall in the value of gold in the 1960s saw a shift in policy away from gold as a cover asset to foreign currency and securities. Now, what Addison was trying to say, when it comes to gold reserves, you will be. But the difference between the Baumia de Baye and the order that in 1960, 61, no, yet the Ghana Sika eto gold. Remember, that time, no, we could not refine gold as Ghanaians. We did not have refineries whereby we can walk in and take the raw gold and do what? And go refine. Remember, we didn't have the technology to refine gold. So what we did was that even though we had gold, we had to go buy refined gold and then do what? Keep in our reserve. So technically, even though those gold, you know, na enya Ghana and the refinery keep in our reserve, no, we still had to go out and go get gold to keep in our reserve. So at that point, they had to go buy gold with gold to come and keep in our reserve. Until gold reserve was there. Now the difference with what Baumia Dems came to do was that they saw an advantage. Say now they can do more galamsey and get more gold. So they created what we call the domestic gold purchase program. Now they knew, say there was gold at that time. Technology had advanced to this point. 2021, we could do what? Refine our own gold and keep in the Bank of Ghana. That is why in 2021 we were able to say yenya per se ye 2 year gold near refining near keeping of Ghana. In 1960, we did not have any refinery in Ghana. You bet my refining raw gold, the rock, the ore, and then save at the Bank of Ghana. Yen to mean Tubo Bano. Then Tambo Bano and Kogu Bank of Ghana said, this is gold. We were supposed to work on the gold. We were supposed to work on the stones, the rocks, to turn into refined gold. Near any technology into what we had to do was to bring the gold and keep in the reserve. Now, in 2021, Ghana moved to the point whereby we can refine gold in Ghana. So a government comes and says, see, to me refine gold or Ghana there. Why don't we buy the gold in Ghana and keep in our reserve? Into gold reserve, no, it is not new. The difference is that in 2021, Ghana has come to that point whereby technology me may refine gold or Ghana into Bank of Ghana through a PMMC can buy gold and reserve it. So that is all. It is so because they say Mahmoud Baumia and because of the domestic gold purchase program, no, I had the first time I purchased gold or Ghana. They are lying. It was because in the 60s we could not refine the gold in Ghana. And if we could not refine the gold in Ghana, did not mean that we did not have gold reserve. The gold that we went out there to get, no, it was gold that we had to sell gold to go buy and to come keep the reserve. And there's nothing new here. Baumia for any extraordinary idea for Fribiambaye. Now, let's say, let us give it to Baumia. Say, Mahmoud Baumia. Thank you, team. Gyamfi say, Baumia and a domestic gold purchase program to buy. Let's give it to Baumia. Now, domestic gold purchase program, no. Now, the reason now I'm to buy na dia ain't no this reason to buy because joy for any NPP for say by force. Yemfa sa no Emma Baumia. That's fine. Now, Mahmoud Baumia himself, when they were launching the gold domestic gold purchase program, no, he made a statement. In fact, say so check NPP for Omokacha say gold for oil, no. The gold for oil was the domestic gold purchase program, no. It was basically about gold for oil. Now, yes, sir, all because they needed a lot of gold to go and buy the oil, to go and exchange for oil, and I say petrol, diesel, and I say whatever you call the petroleum products. Now the question here is, so Mahmoud Bawumia na de a domestic gold purchase program the buyer na. What did we get from that program? So it's here Bawumia. On one case I say the gold for oil program no the buyer no. It was basically to buy oil. It wasn't about keeping gold at the Bank of Ghana in our reserves. Utie Nikasana say they looked at our reserves and we had low gold. That means we didn't have gold. So they devised a plan, and that plan was that the idea of gold for oil, beba. It's gold for oil, no. The main aim for gold for oil was for them to take our gold and go exchange it for oil, not to take our gold and keep them in the vault or keep them in the Bank of Ghana. The main reason for gold for oil was to take the gold and go exchange for oil, and then come and sell the oil in cities. It is so because just say the domestic gold purchase program no Bawumia the buyer. Anything the Bucha says about Bawumia the buyer. What was the main reason for that gold purchase program? No, they were purchasing the gold not to keep the gold. They were purchasing the gold to go and exchange for oil. Now the question here is, gold for oil no, as we speak today, ewa hifa. Enya free gold for oil nim. Today as we speak, say I can say gold for oil now, does it exist? Gold for oil has been cancelled because Nippon Okofa gold for oil buyer no. At the end of the day no, he ended up making so much losses to the point whereby in just 2024 they made 2.14 billion Ghana cedis loss gold for oil. It is how to join our say we should give the credit, the brain behind a domestic gold purchase program. Now, domestic gold purchase program, no, how did it benefit Ghanaians? Because at the end of the day, the gold for oil that you are touted to say by Umiana de buyer, no, we made a loss close to 2.2 billion just in 2024. So you ask yourself, say, how can you tell us, say, this is something that we have to give credit and tell Ghana for, say, because or the idea your friend domestic gold purchasing program by at the end of the day the gold that we purchased under Bawumia sa gold the gold in the oil ye wie ne ye boka ye wie ne ye nyina ye twa mu say amfa so ambre Ghana. So for somebody to sit at Joy News or multimedia and tell us to say Bawumia is the brain, you can be brain behind anything, but at the end of the day, how does it benefit the people? Obianim nyansa nanso kakre bi na wa adwene a omutudi omadwene ebo nipa sebio ye nyina ye chichira asase we no na obi agya ne nan. But at a point some people sat down and said say ejanan ombetuma convert ejanan de aye bibi into obianim nyansa, but badwen bankwa na tumi da ema sebio sa nyansa na etumi dane ade a betuma bo nipa. If you are the brain behind domestic gold purchase program, the question here is the brain behind it, how did it benefit the people? If you are the brain behind it and it does not benefit the people, or it never benefited the people, then you basically did not think through anything. You cannot take credit for anything because adwene na already idea no nyansa na emu eha entumi ansesa anything, entumi ansesa bra, entumi afa bibia ambeka edien Ghana edien yesika sam ehu. If you tell me say we should give Bawumia that credit, there should be a reason why we give somebody credit. Credit you have money for DN, because any fool can think about we as a nation buying gold from Ghana. But at the end of the day, you talk gold we are a DN if a son now was a gold in him. So this guy and what the Joy News guys are trying to push, a jandam, it is fake. Bawumia has never been the brain behind gold reserves. From 1960, the records are there. You can go back and check. From 1960, 1961, when you go into the archive, this is an IMF document. 1960, 1961, gold, now you talk gold, a reserve war Ghana. In 1960, we did not have refineries in Ghana. In to go near Toy and a reserve, we had to go get that gold. Right now in 2021, Now refineries in Ghana. And you decided say, yeah, gold, no, you better na ya the Bank of Ghana. It is not different. There's nothing extraordinary about the domestic gold purchase program. There's nothing extraordinary about it. It's member being Ghana. And can't Ghana for say Bawumia is the brain behind what? Ghana had gold in our reserves before Bawumia was born. It make nobody sit in Ghana and try to throw lies in the system and make it look like say Bawumia is some exceptional intelligent human being. He is not. We gave Bawumia the whole country to run. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he's daft. He cannot read. We gave Bawumia this country to run. Basic. He could not. Under Bawumia and Akufo-Addo, yet to oil chain, President Tibiawaba, these two idiots could not run this basic country. Nobody should sit in Accra and think, say, they can put things out there and make it look like, say, Bawumia ni mnyansama. Bawumia ni mnyanse biya. Let me tell you this. Let me show you this. And Mr. Eric Opoku, the Agric Minister, and maybe both video we the Agric Minister reacted to this domestic gold reserve issues here, Abe. Domestic gold purchase program we. The Agric Minister went to Asempa and Makak Ache Ghana for say in Konfona Moti radio Suni TV so Ghana dodona bodam dodona ya kromfo. You see, Obi Mune sa joy news for we no because Sammy Gyamfi I and Adwene say because John Mahama I and Adwene say because NDC are buying I and Adwene say they are not going to feed them, they are not going to give them money, no. They have this idea say they want to create an impression to say Abangwe is doing nothing and that Bawumia is intelligent. Ghana for nyina nim sebio enifrefo kra nim se Bawumia nim nyansa. Bawumia nim nyansa e de chichire man. Bawumia e ye trofo. Now, Mr. Eric Opoku was on Asempa and Obi busa a question. And he asked Obi question B. It was so interesting say Obusa question about 3 times. Obi refused to answer him. You know why? Because the moment Obi answers the moment he answers that question, it makes Ghana for who say Mahmoud Bawumia, he is not the brain behind the gold reserves we have today in Ghana. But you see, some got radio so because they think say they try to find ways to make listeners think say Bawumia die onimnyansa mama Bawumia mama yan kanasem. Eric Opoku ya die bi. In his deliberation, he was asking Obi a simple question. But unim the reason. Unim the Obi refused to answer that question. Because the moment he answers the question, and the funny thing is, it is not like Obi nim answer no. Even the ordinary Ghanaian now, sebio so unko skudano. When you ask that person that question, Obama will answer. But for some reason, Obi decided not to give an answer. All because say Oma answer the paymaster Bawumia and NPP for no, they will say, why have you thrown Bawumia under the bus? They know say what they are doing at Asempa Multimedia, Joy News, no, it is jandam, it is fake news. They keep on doing it because they don't respect the intelligence of Ghanaians. Eric Opoku Busana say, Samoka Bawumia and they go for oil buyer or they go for reserve buyer. The ultimate was to stabilize the city. The ultimate was to stabilize the economy. And now Opoku Busana say, Samosa Bawumia they go for oil buyer or they go for reserve buyer. The reason here the buyer no, did he accomplish the reason? Obusa Obi say, Yenya Sanfa Sono, Wama answer. Or see Yenya ye. Una ye church ni ultimate nim. Samosi Yemfa credit to Bawumia. On the good for oil buyer, on the good for reserve buyer, on the brain behind it. The main reason was that Okachre said that good for oil policy and good for reserve policy was to stabilize the city, was to stabilize the economy. Eric Opoku Busana say, "Who obi yasam chironi?" Bawumia na okasano yenya. Were we able to accomplish that? Osi yenya ye. Onse not wo. Osi oma answer. Osa Busana biyom yenya ye. Because so the policy bar at the end of the day there was a reason for the policy, and the policy was to stabilize the economy, was to stabilize the city. Now the question here is, so the policy bar now to me and solve that problem, then that policy you brought is a waste of everybody's time. You are even supposed to be jailed. Into Obusa was some training now. Okay, can't tell me a call. Mo amusima call law school now. Munim nyansa chen Ghana for no. Eric Opoku Busana say, "Wosu ye Ghana ni? Debi awuti radio so o kan brofo o chenche nsemu o ka chere nkofo so me ordinary Ghanaians. Mo na munim nyansa. You know more than the people in Ghana know. When I radio so debi Obusa will say, the gold for oil only gold for reserve now Bawumia ne se ode bae no e kana ye boy no the ultimate result no, did we accomplish it obusa obi wo so ye Ghana ni obusa na dey obi kan ye oto ho din unim he did not give an answer because the moment obi na no aka say da bi ye nya no it defeats Bawumia's introduction of gold for oil and introduction of gold for reserve. And now they are not ready to let Ghana for know say Bawumia failed when it comes to the gold for oil or the domestic gold purchase program. And I say gold for reserve. They don't want to admit on national radio or TV say Mahmoud Bawumia actually failed on that front. And for him not to tell his boss say you have failed on radio, no, he was quiet. And because wa would hear radio this is no obi enim otikamu Obi will not answer because the moment Obi answers, everybody gets to know, say, host now confirm say Bawumia bon. And it's he stayed away from answering the guy. That means that the host is a diabolic host. The host is a liar. He is playing on your conscience. They are doing the bidding of Mahmoud Bawumia, even though they know Bawumia bon. They know Bawumia is a bad meat. Bawumia e munafiki. He is, with all due respect, so you pray kwa, you tongue cry and talk. They know. Obi Munim Bawumia has failed on all fronts. Right, no. Eriko Poku, udia kasewa ma Bawumia credit. And in here, no. It is not about decoding the Bawumia ye na enye yenya results biya. Because at the end of the day, so the policy bar Ghana Fosika the additional policy dim ain't say a boka. You have caused financial loss to the state. Inti ayade na obi ni yebusa ne say sa the main reason ti this yiniba and yenyan wankasa, but he was quick to say oh but I was all crediting no. Now obi Jimmy I don't mean crediting him, and what did we get out of the credit? You see, we sit on radio and make it look like say you just have to say let's give this person credit. Any idiot can be given credit, but the issue is at the end of the day a din ani pani ye and because a cromfo cry more credit. Obi to be rob a bank be say wait a man credit the bank way it was fortified. Sibia near your walls now or to me we are no just say or say a credit no. It does not mean say nipa na de no ye. It does not mean say cromfo no ye china yen jelino. It Bawumia you telling us to give him credit no. It does not justify say Bawumia is dumb. It does not justify say Bawumia is not intelligent. It does not justify that Bawumia caused financial loss to the state. It still does not justify that Bawumia could not, at the end of the day, as some kind, he could not go through it to become a successful one. No, it shows clearly say Bawumia has failed. Let us accept these things. Let us help guide the conversation. Na yama Ghana for who no kreno. Mama mi enjoy tadne na radio so na ye da Ghana for na sika kakra ba me yakɔ school nti ye light book kakra betua nti nipa beto ka ache nti then we are imposing liars, people who did us damage on Ghanaians. We should not do that. We cannot force liars on Ghanaians. We cannot force atrofo on Ghanaians. We cannot make it look like say Bawumia bon still I am Bawumia. It does not work. You're 2026. The young Ghanaians sitting there on Jimmy. Let us stop all this comedy of trying to make some people think so much Jimmy. At the end of the day, credit. You can give credit to even a madman. You think because I call you a bodam efe. When the moment credit no bodam man efe. It does not mean he say on board them. Until we crediting Bawumia, does not mean Bawumia is dumb. Does not mean say on your dumb. He is dumb. Does not mean he did not cause financial loss to this country. He caused financial loss to the country. Does not mean say the main reason why into this our policies by to me achieve, we could not achieve it. What is credit? If you give credit to people and the credit could not benefit the people, what is the sense in that credit? Into Jimino, Mahmoud Bawumia is daft. He has failed on all fronts. We are not going to allow anybody to create the impression say Bawumia is smart and intelligent and he has introduced some new thing being see that Bawumia introduced BBR. We were saving gold before Bawumia was born. Bawumia the gold for oil buy or the gold for reserve buy at the end of the day oboka. You try gold for oil. There's a new order in town. We are not going to allow you people to kill to lie to Ghanaians. We will kill Jandam. Now, there is one story I want us to also talk about, and you're busy. Tall. Now, under NPP. Watch as Star resumes crude oil refining after years of inactivity. Ye kasa. Amanfo eye dede. Ahoya gold for oil. Anko so ye a yehu so mo giminti. Ye pese ye bibia na de say Ghana and the NPP. Bibia koso bia omompe. Everything they have a problem with it. But ye ne Ghana for. Ye ne eti Ghana. Ye ne enim de ekoso Ghana. And the obi nkenkan enchire yo. Ye ne na kenkan. And the enyo obi de busa questions ma ye no. Ye ne na busa questions no. And we just don't sit and take any answer. We wait and wait for reasonable answers. For a very long time, Tema Oil Refinery Kwame Nkrumah and Italians, ekesi around the 60s. Na it was a refinery go a oil maye. Emiangasa ye fan we Ghana. It was a tumi enane etieni etumi use bi eton no. For a very long time, Tema Oil Refinery abaya bama abanko. Tema Oil Refinery esabehu life in 2016. From 2012 to 2016, and Tema Oil Refinery, the destiny changing for the better. A word that come Tema John Mahama emerge bust any Tema Oil Refinery. That was when we saw Tema Oil Refinery start to work again. After John Mahama every power in 2016, and a Tema Oil Refinery, a NPP4 a Daneno tank farm. What they were doing in the say, na pomo any Canada Japan money omo makawa abani muno, omu petrol, any omu diesel no. Because they wanted a place to store it, I'm sorry, I'm making sure say Tema Oil Refinery would never be put to use, and yejuma effectively. The tanks were always empty. Send a better omu to me ako store omu diesels and omu petrol ewo Tema Oil Refinery. It for 8 years and the Kufuado. We saw a government that neglected Tema Oil Refinery. Now some politicians were keeping their oils, their stolen diesel, stolen petrol. But when the Busian Kere Japan the Busian Naponi na se NPP they turned Tema Oil Refinery into a tank farm, whereby omunya omo illicit their diesels na petrol na. That is where they were storing it. Under Ekufuado ne Bawumia for 8 years, they did everything possible to make sure say Tema Oil Refinery it never worked, and we all saw what happened under Ekufuado and Bawumia. All that they did was that they did everything possible to make sure say ASI refinery no matter what oman for sikabia and shem near tikrom ha ena nanado danko Kufuado efa car oneba omia etwemu Tema Oil Refinery eko bibi e freno another private refinery eko commission a private refinery. Your friend saying Messias, what's the name of that refinery? What's the name of that private refinery now? No? What's the name? Nanado Dankwe Kufuado, any Mahamudu Bawumia, they got in cars, Omutina Kamu, and Omuya Deng, Omuko Tema. Get me the name. They bypassed a year to Tema Oil Refinery, a year Ghanaian owned. They bypassed it and they went all the way to a year Central Oil and commissioned Central Oil. Chinese sini and the politicians phobi oil refinery, a refinery company. They bypassed it and they went to refine a foreign person's refinery. And with the same Tema enclave. It shows you say a NPP way, but Bawumia NPP way, Ekufuado Kere Japan NPP way Jimmy. They don't care anything about Ghana. Yet Kroma and Papa Kufuor so buy Ghana always no trade. Yet Yana Papa Kufuor time ship Eddie Coco ship it to be Rana Coco na Nadia Ketiamo Nano Soko. Yet Yana Papa Kufuor Ghana Telecom no trade. That is what they do when they come to power. Adebia Kwame Nkrumah muja obi no maton wedi. Now, what they did was for the past 8 years now, omotina bemuno. Omo free power no. Na Tema Oil Refinery under Ekufuado ne Bawumia na omo de eka $570 million. Eka Ekufuado and the Bawumia mo eboto Tema Oil Refinery. What they did was that they were using the refinery to store their diesels near Antique Fiha. And I'm a whole scandal on the former GRA boss, your friend saying, Keno Damwa, on phone with another custom official. No more say Jubilee House, the illegal drug diesel be every Nigeria said yen. Our motor pirates were or more de barber store ewo a bit to our mona murefi. Yes. almost free power no. Not Tema Oil Refinery down $540 million. And so to me could be a Centio oil. Now, at a point in our history, in 2024, they told us to say Tema Oil Refinery, it was worth $22 million and come over beton. At a point, Oko Tema Oil Refinery, na a camera ebini ho, na omo chucha metals ni na container omo chucha de ya alumi, na omo de ya coalpot, na obia kwa osi higher media ni chucha ni akoton. At a point, Tema Oil Refinery, na refinery ni nipa ni ho, na eye bawomia Canada Japan, na pomo almost store omo diesel, almost stolen oil ni diesel. Ne crack no in 2023 they told us to say Tema Oil Refinery it was worth $22 million. They wanted to sell it to themselves. Now when the ACA one Sebio quite interesting. In less than a year, the NDC government led by John Mahama, they have been able to put Tema Oil Refinery to work. And the Menokasana G workers ever Tema Oil Refinery. Omo enane de fango etieni ama Ghana yenya ho mfaso in less than 1 year. They be am catch Ghana for aban we abana was here protect aban we. You and I, we need to protect this government, especially this president. This is not a joke. This is what we have to be discussing now. This is extraordinary. Omo beto eka $517 million. Na do dankwe kufuado bawumia Kennedy Japan. Kennedy not that boss to say GMPC board so boss. Napo bawumia onini nuanom. They left $517 million eka enom the two Tema Oil Refinery so. Enom ko be a Centio oil. Omni Chinese ni ene kusibuatin. Centio oil kusibuatin shares wom. Nanado Dankwe Kufuor neba umiam ne coin commission sent you from Central Oil to Tema Oil Refinery in 10 miles. Is it not despicable? And your time. Omo nyina she suit and omo kotina sent you and omo commission sent you. Na omo boka good Tema Oil Refinery made in Ghana for there. $517 million. Omo got to war. They didn't touch it. In less than a year, Abambia ba etumia turn it through the CEO, etumia turn it tall into an active refinery. Oka chem say, I should sit here and allow these monkeys, these inner monkeys to come rule Ghana again? You want me to sit here and tell you, say, the same monkeys who placed $517 million debt on Tor, you want me to sit here and tell you that these monkeys are intelligent and that we should hand over the country to them? What we are building today, if we hand over the country to these monkeys, these NPP monkeys, they will run us down. And that is something they have been doing for years. So let's not sit here and make it look like, say, we have started resetting and rebuilding. Yeah, my own 42 years. After 42 years, Obiel Twinfan and Sanka Ghana and say no. For now, we should not allow the inner monkeys to come close to our development. They will destroy the nation. They will come back and tell you, say, they are superior human beings than you because these are people who are not ready and willing to help us build. Sanka NPP for the Munyansapa and Kenden Kosomia press conference, Nomaka said they want to applaud John Mahama for making sure a national asset, Kwame Nkrumah Jaya, Napodidi Kwame Nkrumah terminal, that national asset has been revived. And NPP for the Munyansa, Sanka Baomia, Kennedy Mo, someone Amambofon and Komuni Munyansa, they should on their campaign be applauding John Mahama for putting Tor to work. Tema Oil Refinery ye Juma, and internet and the petrol, Abba form. And it and the auto petrol before it is working not even at its full capacity. So imagine, say, the next 8 years, 10 years, 12, 20, 40 years, the NDC is in power and making sure that you see another refinery account. How much a better petrol? This is how you are supposed to think. Now, and these are the steps they are taking. A refinery, not a deca $570 million, almost to me, turning around. The Tema Oil Refinery has taken a major step to strengthen efficiency with the commissioning of a new fleet of operational vehicles. This strategic investment, funded entirely through TOR's internally generated funds, marked the first major logistical upgrade since 2013 and signal a renewed drive towards productivity and sustainability. Now, with appreciation to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Honorable John Jinapor, the board management and resilient TOR workforce, this milestone sets the refinery firmly on the path of revitalization and progress. This is under John Mahama. And one of them say TOR bedroom point we are retooling TOR. And there can be a friend IGF, internally generated fund. TOR anka said to my yejumenya sika edia to cars edia to equipment e pese e de boama TOR ejuma koso. TOR na under Bawumia, under Kennedy Japan, under Ekufuado. TOR na edeka $570 million no, and the TOR etumia 10 year around under JM, under NDC in less than 2 years. Etumia create sika aye jumenya internally etumia create sika etumi air to equipment to make sure TOR ejina na so. You said I should hand the country over to this NPP hooligans. I should give the country back to these inner monkeys. They don't care. All that they understand is to steal. All that they understand is to make fun of us, to insult us in our faces, to steal money and go keep on islands, to steal money and take to the UK. These are not people we can hand over a nation to again. If you're a Ghanaian, you should be proud. Abana woto ya na ebi mfaso na ebi nie. You should be proud say woto Abama John Mahama na NDC. Be proud. Because through you, through Abana woto ya nti yetume save Kwame Nkrumah TOR. Kwame Nkrumah Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah TOR no. In history bedu some point because say ye na save TOR. Sanke yanto ba ama NDC amba power anka Kwame Nkrumah TOR no anka hye essay. Inti minu me making history. We should be very proud. And we should protect the history that we have made. And how do we protect it? We have to make sure consistency, keeping this NDC government in power for the next 41 years to protect Yene Dieyepe. So it is not a joke. We have made history. You should be proud. I was all my wenije. Say, oh yeah, CPP ni nende otigana ma weninje nama fa ayede wakoma pa support to NDC because adena Kwame Nkrumah ye na CPP mubo mu dewuro no and the NDC ababa be ye NDC asabe revival no into your CPP ni a technical your NDC ni to so do vote my NDC to aso. Allow the inner monkeys to fool. Allow the hooligans to fool. They will never see anything good in what we are doing or the building we are building because they just come, destroy, kill, and then disappear. That is what they do. Ken Ofori-Atta, he came to destroy, he came to steal, and then he has disappeared. Ken Ofori-Atta, he came to destroy, he came to steal, and then he disappeared. That is their trademark. That is their modus operandi. That is how they are built. Blueprint. This is how they are. They come, they destroy, they steal, and then they run. And they have been doing it since time. Started here. They are snitches for the foreigners. We're more concerned for snitches, and that is what they have been doing for years. So we need to be happy. We need to be very, very, very confident in moving forward. We all have to be focused. We have all made history today. We have revived Tema Oil Refinery. We have revived the refinery. And we should be happy because when you see this lit up, it should tell you that you have made history. So, NPP for the Omojimi, they be a catch Ghana for NPP for naturally they are foolish. They don't understand. They just don't want to accept to say Ghana for no is here yini ya ginuwe biye yenyan kwasiafo biem yema obi for tribe or sumbi any atrobi and other. They still don't get it. They still don't respect Ghana for. They still think say we are joking. The NPP, the reality, still they don't want to accept the reality. Ghana for nyam kwasiafo biemo nyoma sesan. Yenjimi biemo. And they did bronya wa Ghana, a whole bronya at the new year. The whole of Ashanti region, any program ya ho. And this NDC ama see a national theater wa Ashanti region. You be the bronya the next 40 years, you di bronya Kumasi. And they did bronya wa Ghana, bronya boss Santimite said the Jones abo akoko. Aden. And so they be a sorry. Ubemu NPP nkwasi afowe Ashanti region here stronghold. Ashanti region. Ya papa kufo Asantiniba odi mokodi nchine obedi president 8 years. Weekend bi ana obe yo Kumasi when to me and see a place. Ratchet Park and then this is for the Bayamamo. Asantini this show when to me anka said abi mami see a place ye betumi agada ye boja. For 8 years odi Kumasi atrenchie obonsan bi ewo Kumasi efran tuma kese koyie ya papa kofo Asantini bema odi bofro kwan de nsa kutu ne hwena no wentumi anye bibi wa Asante a ye betuma be di djuma wa Asante a aka se nipa 10,000 7,000 akohye wentuma anye bi achichide we oni abozegi jimijimi we so baaye 80 years Ashanti region is our stronghold party de efuru Ashanti memu ende ebe sinne NPP entumi ka se upon vote omnya wa Ashanti memu nyina no omutumi see even one edifice ye betumi aye a whole program wo a insuo to anipa nwane ye twan ma NDC asaba be see a national theater in the Ashanti region ye di bronya a whole bronya program ba kumpa nkoso wa Asante memu I was started adani kurase and Asanteman ye di bronya I se kusie bon emu aye tum and Asante memu ye di bronya ye di Easter ye event kusie mpo entuma ma Asante memu be organize one program one sanyoma we ntina metena wa na mahwe me chips da bi metu kwan meni abie de opa de paba kotokono yendi na bro mema NDC fo sanyoma ni nyina yedi mpuntu abafie na de bia ye sori a ene ye NPP fo ye stronghold ya Asante memu na ye di bronya kra Ghana keke bronya enkura program kra kiddie fest ye ntumi nya bi okumase kiddie fest anka osankema funny face host ni amano 50,000 300,000 Ghana share ho no ye ntumi amfa kiddie fest amba Kumasi kiddie fest ye ntumi pondi kiddie fest Kumasi kiddie fest inquire beto everywhere I go omutumi pon beto watabambam and I say this is dangerous ye ntumi nya kiddie fest Kumasi ye tiama ye NPP for this is what we're talking about and Ghana bibia begina nkran and the artist wo Kumasi a obonyo makope no afa ntoma afa nkukusaka no abetena nkran obi adwuma or a businessman no afa ntoma no afa nkukusaka no abetena nkran iti adi say sesia no ye jai Asantemana manada na ekurase I say kusie bomu bibia nkoso NDC for ya na besi eye sewia ebesi afare NDC for ya na besi kejetia eye NDC for ensambra biem enti de ntina wo so wa Asante memu oya ho me NPP ni a otoma NPP for hu Asante for so me enkurasefo na pomu ende Kumasi no enkran no mote na pomu ende enkran no mote omo pe enkran jantrafo che Kumasi fo jantrafo ebise Kumasi fo jantrafo te TikTok di nkwasi asem ba enkran fo jantrafo omo ni TikTok omo ye bibia coded enti bibia sesa we mu no mdi ba omi echi o sankofo we ene di ba omi echi on sa kwani pushi ni kakra na ina monkey ni pie omusa omagimi omunyina no mabodam NPP omusa omagimi omunyini pe no mabodam we mu na di ba omi echi da yentuma ba omia hey on sa opushi ni kakra na ina monkey ni pie ina monkey ni ba ina monkey ni yinedi ai ba omia ba on wari broni da obe wari broni we mu omunya nipa urade me say we NPP supporter now you pona who on for so be breach NPP supporter pona na no dey betu di pona aye pona abin na ne ho na o dey akoko o dey NPP supporter compare pona ana say apimbo de on for so che NPP supporter what you kwase moka what you kwase se be free no mu ba obi ba wo ye nyem no ene e kyem no wo no odi ba omi agi say ye ba omi president ye say oba ba den o say obi aba ware broni wei omusa omagimi omunyina no mabodam Ina monkey na wote no. Ina monkey no. And your likes we say 2 million when people. Me say NPP supporter pona ho for so channel. Pona. Na wa ye dean ebunebunu akato nyaado stew. Na odi nkoso be tuatuom na pona anene ho na yere besi nchen a. Obetu ni NPP supporter akọ boda. Ana say dean apembo de. Omo Jimmy. Oh ready. We mu akosia meri na hwe omo. Akosia meri de ne hwini se bini no. Ghana ne hwini se bini na ne claim to fame so okuta Rebecca Kufuado baga okoye some criminal ebi se den max so se den sa Ghana ne hwini se bini no. Ono na ye okotuatua bail ne ma criminals na omo so meku president akosia meri product ne bini. And these are people we need to omo pese hand Ghana more. Na akwa we ni toilet paper for so be na woso. Akwa we the one for so toilet paper. Sa French for paper na oko KVIP ani atibia ma no. Akwa we no one for so sa paper no. Unim the paper need to me here. Unim baby to me clean. Na kwasi ampanyi we to work kan kwasi asam. Oso awe Jimmy o nyini o. O ina monkey no he.
David.
Jantre ni. Jantro. My friend ni besie. Jantro. Jantre ni Paul. On kwasa sama no omotiga na edi. O she su di so we Jimmy. Nobody would lose an election because they built a cathedral. They broke down the judges' houses. They broke down Kwasiampenyi. Jantro. Jantro. French ni besie. Jantre ni ba. Jantro. Jantre ni. We Jimmy. NPP for say no mutio. De no muti Ghana ye. Obi ko tua mena. Ase wako Israel kotambo ba. Meme Yesu, mema konta ni kurom. Me yire Jew ni nua bema ni Yesu. Me yire ohun Yesu say just a normal boy. Wo wako meme yire kurom akoma konta kurom akotobo baba. Oro kwasi aye otu kankanka be gina TV so nobody will build a cathedral and lose an election and we build Jimmy. Jantro. Jantre ni Paul. Jantre ni. Wono wo yire jantra fo mienu. Ena oto na nkwase akeka. And we were sitting in Ghana watching these clowns. Mr. Paul Ademochire. This year, the abeto de onyahu bi da. Paul Ademochire. Me say me ka se me kire mo last no. Anybody who had tried anything against me in the past, they are going to suffer the consequences this year. Makasem when so be rising against me as survivor. It's either your voice will be taken away, and when the voice is taken away, nobody's going to listen to you, and at the end of the day, you will end up dying like a sheep. It is going to happen, and you see, all these people they be because somebody straight. When we say Obia rising up against me in this space, whether on TV, on radio, on social media, as survivor after that, the moment I shut up on you, you are done. And you can see it clearly on all of them. And this year is their last year. They will face the consequences. Because you see, we are not just doing it, we are saving lives and saving a nation. And if you make up your mind to say, we wanting to save a nation, you want to obstruct the work of God, God will nullify you. And we are men, we don't have time to do that. God in his own wisdom knows the end of every man and he decides the fate of every man. Into my catch them will say, all the people a few months ago who rose up against me, in your life, God will take word out of your mouth. People will listen to you as a madman. You have no idea what is coming. But they themselves, they know. They don't sleep. And you will never sleep. Because when you murder sleep, you will sleep no more. When you murder sleep, you will sleep no more. Cast your mind back. Obia will try anything against me on this thing called internet. Busasa one to my survival. Ebimo ejuma abomo. Ebima homeless. Some people cannot sleep. Some people are struggling. And this year is the manifestation year. People have no idea. Do you know what we had to go through to save Ghana from the nonsense of Ekufuado? You think it's a joke? My uncle enim. Mo de munim mu bibi da. For any to form. Mo so for be akobusa so for say hwehwɛ Kevin Taylor chi, you understand